I'm Kristi Letter, and we have a piece. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Sure.
We have a piece, and it's called Fortunate Ophelia, and it is made from fence posts, wood, and objects, all from Lafayette that we got at a farm and a thrift store, and I think the side of the road.
Yep. And I'm Patricia Kelly.
I think the inspiration was really our friendship at the root.
Absolutely. And
We-
working together.
We love working together, hanging out together. We're in a book club together. We're neighbors in Lafayette.
And originally we were going to do 2 different sculptures, and I did a prototype of using the wood together, and then what we found is working together and putting the pieces together actually made a more compelling piece.
Yeah, we really found the synthesis of 2 different processes and styles coming together to make it say what it said, and I think that that's what was so fun for us, is that this really was something that I think neither of us could have predicted exactly the shape it would take. It took the energy created between us when we sat down in the garage and left the world behind a little bit. One of the striking elements is it does have a lot of quotes from Hamlet, from specifically pertaining to or spoken by Ophelia, who's such a mysterious figure in the play. I also teach English. I have to do full disclosure. So my students, I'm sure, will all be very excited to see more Hamlet in the world. But the idea of her being unheard and associated with nature and all the sort of contradictions of everything being told for her, but then she becomes somebody who, at least in metaphor and flowers, does get to speak her piece. So the quotes from Hamlet sort of bring that aspect into it, verbalize it, and put it into words. And Patty was much more about all the beautiful wooden elements, which you were much better at putting together and prototyping.
There's a few different pieces and elements of the wooden pieces that I find really striking. The found objects are all found, of course, in the city of Lafayette. I even called a local owner to see if I could take one of his logs off of his land to see if he wouldn't mind using it. And he said, well, my buddy is going to be using it as firewood, so you can't take too many. And I said, I just need a couple. And so we cut, and so what I did is I actually cut the logs so that we could start seeing some even more of a floral aspect into the top layer and around the actual piece itself. It's a very organic piece. I don't think either one of us thought it would end up the way it did, but it's actually quite rewarding to be part of the actual public arts in the city of Lafayette, and it's also rewarding just to know that we've been recognized. So
I know.
I really believe it creates dialogue when you have public art in a community. I know just even what I did is I walked the sculpture down from our house down to the South Public Road, and there was a woman who stopped because her brother-in-law had actually said there's a sculpture walking down the street. So she asked about it and she engaged, and I would have never met her if I didn't, if that wasn't there and it wasn't part of it.
Yeah, it's so, looking at the pieces that make the community really are a form of communication, and they give such character and such flair to the community itself, and discussing them with neighbors. And the neighbors we had come up to us when we were creating, the fact that they're now going to be able to see what they saw really,
Piecemeal.
pieced on the porches as we're sitting there, and they'd come up and they'd ask us questions. And now when they walk to the coffee shop or go get flowers, they'll be able to see it in a whole new context, which is exciting.
Right, and also just being mothers, it's just so nice to be able to have another conversation piece with the kids and have them tell us what they see. I think it would be really fun for the public to actually leave flowers. I think it would be really a fun just aspect of seeing something that we consider very, very organic to continue to live.
I feel so fortunate to live in a community that is so supportive, because I think it makes my family life better and more beautiful. And I know for a fact it has inspired me. It's inspired my children to write poetry and paint pictures, and it inspired us to put in all this time on something that wasn't caring for children or making dinner or going to work. Not that I'm knocking those things, we do them every day, but it's pretty fun to bust out of the norm and really explore that creative
Absolutely.
piece.
I would say I feel extremely fortunate to be part of the program, so I really am grateful, and I thank everyone in the committee and that chose us. I mean,
Yeah.
what an honor. Yeah.